Shepherd?
Yes, yes. No, it's a prop.
It's no rabbit.
No, but I do have a magic formula for you.
Okay, now.
So I'm Jessica Hansen, and most people don't know that I was a teen mom, that I was homeless, that I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I had to survive an abusive marriage. I had to survive bankruptcy, being on welfare, and single parenthood. But most people go, you're so happy, you're so bubbly, you're so energetic, and you sparkle, right?
Right.
By choice. Because I chose to be that way in spite of, or anyway, with everything that I had to go through. So, when I was younger, you know, like 8, 9, 10, people would ask me all the time, what are you going to be when you grow up? Where are you going to live? What are you going to do? What are you going to have, 2 kids, 4 kids? What are you going to do? I didn't know. I didn't have a vision. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, right? Because we don't have to decide that, but it's a really good thing, though, that my vision was veiled, because I didn't need to know what was going to happen. When I was about 10 years old, and I don't know exactly what day it was, because I was about 10 years old. My parents split, right? Who remembers everything when they're 10 years old? My parents split, and it wasn't uncommon, right? It's it happened, it wasn't super common, but it started me kind of on this downward spiral. My parents actually had given me and my sister a choice. Well, who do you want to live with? That's a pretty big decision, and it's going to affect the rest of your life. But I understand why they did it, because they didn't want to get blamed if we chose wrong, right? So me and my sister, of course, we're girls, we chose mom. We're like 10, my sister's 8, we know what's coming. We've all been to health class.
Right.
You don't want to go to dad with all these girl problems coming anyway. So we chose to live with my mom, and therefore we moved out of state. That was the first time that we moved, and we moved 3 times in 4 years as preteens. That's rough. Because not only is that like the worst time of your life when you know everyone around you, it is very, very bad and hard to go to a place in a small town where everybody's known everybody else since daycare and come in and make friends. And so I started on this road of not really making friends, keeping everybody a little bit away, and that kind of brings bad decisions, because to try to fit in, you got to do things like you think everybody else wants you to do. So through high school, I, had boyfriends and, partied with my other friends and, did all these things. And then one day, found out, oh, I'm pregnant. Well, that's kind of not expected, right? Actually, I have a picture of that girl. And the funniest thing about this picture is that it is quite literally the day that I knew that I was pregnant. Because I was at prom. It was prom night. And, oh, sorry, I'm moving from the camera. You plan that out far ahead in advance. You know if you are going to have, extra things in your purse that night. Well, I didn't, but I should have. And, oh, maybe I don't have the picture. It was on my phone, and now it's not there. Okay. So I'm going to move on, but that's all right. Anyway, so at prom night, I'm sitting there. Something's not right. So kind of let it go, right? Because you got no choice. I'm going to have fun anyway. A couple days later, got it confirmed. So then I got to tell my mom. My mom and I didn't have exactly a great relationship either. We had a relationship, but it wasn't close. Was not close with my sister. We had more like a enmity, right? It was more than sibling rivalry. It wasn't even friendship, but it was like walking around in a dream world. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where things are just so unreal. You start walking around and like nothing is real for days. And so I had to go through that and start making some really big choices. You know, I already made one big choice for my life, but now I got to make bigger choices. And they not only affected me, they affected this tiny little human that I was supposed to do something with. And so I had already decided, I don't know, you could call it intuition, you could call it knowing, you could call it God telling me. I didn't have religious relationship at all at that time. So whatever it was, I knew I was supposed to have this baby. And I knew it was a boy. I don't know. They wouldn't even tell me what it was, but I knew it was my son. So I went through all that and had this baby alone, because what I found out was while I was pregnant, my boyfriend at the time, who was in and out of jail, you know, all these, not a good person, but he cheated on me, not once, twice, that I know about. You can tell me twice, I find out there were more. So I'm already kicked down, I'm already alone, doing all this stuff, have this baby. My mom was so critical. I couldn't do anything right. I could not diaper him right. I could not feed him right. I did not rock him enough before I put him down to bed, and I did not get up fast enough in the middle of the night to get him when he cried. So what did she do? She took him. She took guardianship. I got 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go fast. So she took guardianship. So now I've lost my son. I got nobody around me. And I'm going to talk really, really fast. I go to college because you know what? I knew that I still had to go on with my life even through all this. And I went to college. And that didn't last that long because obviously I'm having some struggles emotionally. My dad came to visit and he picked me up because he was astute enough to realize something's not right. Something's going on. And he picked me up and he picked my son up and moved us out to Oregon. So I start over again. After about 4 months, I met my ex-husband, who was, of course, Savior himself, come right in and took care of us, right? That lasted a very short period of time because he was very violent, very angry, very controlling, very manipulative. But what kept me going through all of this were 3 things. I had decided where I was going. I didn't know if it was the right thing or not, but I had made that decision because I knew that I had kids that I had to give a better life to than what I currently had. And I had to make a plan. I didn't have to know the whole plan, but I had to be working for something. 1 or 2 steps ahead, I knew what I needed to get done. And that 3rd thing was, I had to do the work. Because you can't just make a plan, you can't just make a decision. I had to go do something about it. And I also took 7 years, but I finished college.
Yes.
She said that, and I was like, that was it, 7 years, time of completion. And now, I can wave my magic wand and it is gone.
Yes.
And so my dare to you is I dare you to be resilient. And these 3 things are going to take you through so that you can be resilient. But I do know that you are here, therefore you already are resilient.
Yes.
Woo!